So one of the reasons that I'm here during this journey after 25 years of being a doctor and taking care of patients in the clinic, 24/7, is that I have a neurodegenerative disorder in my eye. It's called macular telangiectasia type 2, and it's considered a rare disease, although I think it's probably less diagnosed because doctors don't know how to look for it. It kind of presents a little bit like macular degeneration in that, like, the center of your eye, what usually you look at.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Ability Podcast. I am your host, Nick Yerhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. Today's guest is Dr. Tiffany, and this is going to be a great episode. I can't wait to hear all about her and what she does. So, Dr. Tiffany, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. First, I'd be ashamed to not thank you for having me here and to sharing your audience with me. I'm a medical oncologist. I'm a cancer doctor. I specialize in breast and gynecological cancers, so ovary, cervical, uterine types of cancers, and breast cancer. I worked at a major cancer institution for 25 years, and I'm now sort of looking at my own journey and looking at a couple of other entrepreneurial type of things that I'm going to do in different ways to help patients and their caregivers.
That's incredible, and thank you for all that you've done. I've heard a lot of family members with cancer. I actually lost my dad a few years ago to brain cancer, so it really hits home for me.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know how difficult the process is.
It's not good at all.
I know. I'm here to help, though. That's why I'm here.
That's what I love. You're here to help people in more ways than being a doctor, which is incredible. So what do you do now?
Great question. So we're still defining it. So my company is called Winning the Cancer Journey. And I named it that because what I found over the years is that patients can be either cured of their cancer or put into remission, but the whole pathway for them can be so much more difficult than necessarily has to be. And I found that over the years, especially being at a major cancer institution, that when people came for second opinions, they didn't necessarily really understand their disease, the diagnosis process, the treatment options, and it really upset me. It bothered me. And I used to spend a lot of time trying to educate my patients so that they would kind of understand the whole pathway. Because I think if you understand what you're doing and why, and you understand the different types of symptoms and how to manage them, your whole process, the whole journey is a lot easier for you. And, I also found that, there are some critical points in diagnoses, like when somebody's first diagnosed, that first 4 to 6 weeks it's torture. It's one of the hardest, periods of time in anybody's life while they're trying to figure out exactly, what's going on, what's wrong, what stage am I, what kind of cancer is it, what's my treatment going to be. And then the other point that seems to be a very critical time is also at a time if somebody's cancer comes back again, so sort of at a diagnosis period, and everything in between. So my goal is to really to help decrease patients and their caregivers, to decrease their anxiety and sort of help calm the chaos, educate people, and to help guide them. Sometimes people need somebody else to just explain something to them again in a better way because they don't want to bother their doctor, so to speak, or they can't get in touch with their doctor. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it is so important for patients to understand exactly like what's going on. And another thing that I believe in is, your thoughts create your reality. So it's hard when you get diagnosed with cancer. It's really hard, and your first thought for a lot of people is, I'm gonna die, and that's horrifying. But it's the truth. But I think with what you're doing, it's gonna give them a lot of understanding and maybe a way for them to think about it differently so they can focus more on the positive things and not just focus on the negative. And I think that will help them heal a lot better. What do you think about that?
I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, I am preparing a TED Talk that I am going to be applying for a couple of speaking engagements with that actually reviews some of that information. And in fact, what I feel is that the power of mindset and the power of positive thinking can actually significantly help a patient do better during the treatment. If a patient has already decided that everything bad happens to me, and so everything bad is going to happen now, it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And, I think that by being positive, being proactive, and trying to, at least make the best of it that you can, you actually come out of it less damaged, so to speak. And I mean more psychologically than physically. And, I think that people that are able to utilize the help around them and to help, allow people to help them and to ask for support, they always do better. They really do. They do better in the end.
They do. And, this makes me think of my dad a lot because when he was diagnosed with a brain cancer, he had a tumor, and it was his second tumor. The first one was like many years ago, like 10, 15 years.
Oh, wow. That's a big time frame between relapse.
But his first one was non-cancerous. So they were able to just go in and take it out. Well, the second time it was cancerous. And they actually gave him, I want to say, only like 6 to 8 months to live at that time. And he ended up living 5 years after that. And that's I think impressive. It was a lot of his mindset that actually did help because, he was the one that was comforting us in the situation, taking care of my mom, my sister, and me. He was the more positive one where we were all, worried and, crying and all that. And he was just always like, it'll be okay. No matter what, it will be okay. And
it's a very strong man.
Yeah, very. And like towards the end, we knew he was fading. And my mom kept breaking down. And she asked me, she's like, why are you not like sad or, worried? He said, because everything will be okay. So like but yeah, I really think that because he was that way is why he made it that long.
I'm sure it helped. I'm sure it contributed to it. People that have that type of a mindset tend to be more proactive in their care and to, mind their symptoms more closely and to perhaps, communicate better with their doctors. The whole process goes better with that type of a mindset. But, not everybody's born that way. Some people are born glass half empty people, right? And so, you can only do as much as you can do, but I do try and really help. And I find that, again, not to sound repetitive, but that if you really understand, if you're educated properly and you're getting, accurate information and people being upfront and honest with you, I think that it allows you to come to terms with what you're dealing with and how you are going to present yourself to the rest of your family and the world,
Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, speaking of like, understanding, for instance, I have cerebral palsy. And the funny thing is, I had never researched cerebral palsy until last year. Because
how old are you?
I'm 32. I had never researched it because I was like, all right, number one, if I research it, I'm going to find all the bad stuff that I don't want to see.
Right.
Number two, I was like, I know how it affects me. So I know what I can do. I know what things are difficult. I know how to live. But I will say, after I learned about what it actually is, and like what happens over time and all of that, I became like aware, and I think now it's like through that I realized we all know that our health is important, but a lot of us don't take care of our health like we should,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been taking care of my health a lot more, and I've been really focused on that because something that I read said the healthier you are, like basically the lower the symptoms are, you can kind of do more.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, that's the truth. Like, now that I'm eating healthy and exercising and drinking enough water, like, my pain has reduced. I don't fall down as much as I used to. I used to fall, every other day or so. Now I can't even remember the last time because when I fall, it's just simply I lose my balance and then I go down,
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like I fall a lot less and I'm like, okay. So that's just kind of something that came to mind when you were talking about,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if you know what's going on, it can really help.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I find
So
that very
yeah,
interesting that you were able to avoid it, looking it up for so
yeah,
long.
yeah. It was just something that I just, like I
Should I
said,
tell you my disability?
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So, one of the reasons that I'm here during this journey after 25 years of being a doctor and taking care of patients in the clinic,
Mhm.
24/7, is that I have a neurodegenerative disorder in my eye. It's
Okay.
called macular telangiectasia type 2, and it's considered a rare disease, although I think it's
Mhm.
probably less diagnosed because doctors don't know how to look for it.
Mhm.
It kind of presents a little bit like macular degeneration in that, like, the center of your eye, what you look at,
Mhm.
what you focus on is your fine detail of your focus, and that's in the macula as part of your retina. And
Okay.
for different reasons, those cells are dying in my eye. And so when I
Really.
look at people, I see like a ring with haziness in it. So if I stare right at
Hmm.
your nose is hazy. So it makes it
Hmm.
increasingly more difficult to read on the computer a lot and that sort of thing. And so I,
Yeah.
I had a couple of workarounds at work, and it became difficult. And,
Mhm.
being a persevering kind of person, I pushed through for a long time, but then I realized that, there's a lot of other ways that I can help people with
Mhm.
cancer. And I can use
Mhm.
all of my education and my experience to help people in another way that doesn't
Mhm.
require me to be reading documents on the computer, 24/7. So that's one of the
Yep.
reasons that I'm undergoing this journey as well.
Mhm. Yeah. The coolest thing, it sucks that you gotta deal with that, and first off, but we tend to take our experiences or something difficult that we go through and turn it into something positive, turn it into a way that we can help others.
Hmm.
And that's what I love seeing is more and more people getting out there and doing that. Like me, I'm doing it also. It was like a couple of years ago. I was like, okay, God put me here for a reason, the way that I am. What's that reason? And then it was like, oh, I was put here because I have a way of helping others more uniquely than anybody else. So that's like my purpose in life.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's awesome that we can take something negative and turn
Hmm.
it into a positive.
Yeah. It's hard though. I'm sure you can
It,
agree.
it
There's some
is.
days I wake up and I can't read very well, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
angry
Yeah.
at the universe, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I have to persevere.
Yep.
It's about your mindset, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And pushing forward, being positive.
Yep. Exactly. And when I'm feeling that way, I like to focus on the things that I'm grateful for, and
Hmm.
that usually makes it a lot easier. Not always, but usually.
Yeah, agree. What are you grateful for? What is some of your top three?
Well, God, and then my life in general. Like, I'm so grateful for the path I'm on, and I wasn't grateful a couple of years ago, but
Hmm.
now it's like, okay, I'm really grateful for this journey and the path I'm on, and then I'm grateful for my family. Like, my family means everything to me,
Yeah.
and then my friends are amazing. So, I just I could go on about that, but we don't have time for all that.
I just always think it's an interesting question to see what most, but I have to say that my top are probably corresponding almost exactly with yours.
Yep, awesome,
Yeah,
awesome. So, can you tell us more about how you're gonna help people?
sure. I'd love to. So it's kind of a multi-prong approach. First and foremost, I'm writing a book, which is almost done. I'm on chapter 12 of 12 or 13. I have to decide if I'm going to add
Ooh.
that last one or not. And I kept everything very simple, so it's easy to follow me and my brand. Winning the
Yeah,
Cancer Journey. It's the name of my
perfect.
company, name of my book. It's going to be the name of, I have a Facebook group and a website, and just today I had a pretty big breakthrough. I'm going to start doing live and virtual lectures. And
Mm-hmm.
so I did a big like questionnaire, and I posted on like 10 different Facebook groups or something. And I got hundreds of responses. And so that was
Good.
great because I was able to sort of rank what topics people really wanted to hear about. And so I
Yeah.
have a private Facebook group, and then I also have a program, an online program that will be a subscription
Mm-hmm.
that will be affordable, right? So that,
Mm-hmm.
sort of everybody can join it. And
Yeah.
it's going to have a lot of my information that I teach on. There'll
Mm-hmm.
be videos, there'll be a
Mm-hmm.
community there. And then I'll be doing weekly lives to answer questions and to teach certain things. So people that are interested, then I will have a really nice concentrated group of people that really want to hear what I'm educating
Yeah.
on. So yeah,
I
very
love
excited.
that.
Thanks.
And that's so important to have, your, basically ideal clients or,
Hmm.
the people that you can really help.
Right.
That's so important and so awesome. I love what you're doing. I think this
Thank
is going
you.
to be amazing, and I'm gonna follow you and see everything You're doing. It's
Thank you.
going to be so helpful for so many people.
Appreciate that, Nick.
I think it's gonna be a lot bigger than you think.
I hope so. I really hope that this
Yeah.
book is going to make a big difference. As far as I can tell, the research that I've done and some of my assistants have done, there's nothing really like it out there. I take a
Mm-hmm.
patient from, the minute that they know something's wrong, whether it's in the emergency room, they wake up in the middle of the night or whatever it is. From the
Mm-hmm.
moment they know something's wrong, all the way through the radiology that they have to take, the
Mm-hmm.
biopsies, the surgery. I walk through chemo. I walk through all the treatments. I walk through survivorship.
Wow.
So yeah, it's written for at a patient level. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that it will be really, really helpful to a lot of people.
That's just incredible.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I will be reading your book just because I want to know your process. Because cancer really close to me, so I really want to know.
Well, I'll
So
definitely
yeah.
send you one, Nick.
Well, thank
Of
you.
course.
So what would be like the top 3 things that you would teach?
Oh, wow.
That might be hard. Yeah, that's gonna be hard, but
Well,
I
I'll tell you what the 4 topics were that I was
there we go.
surveying on today. Let's see.
Okay,
I'm going to bring them up real quick and put them over
awesome.
here so that I can read them off. Can you still see me?
Yep, I
Okay.
can.
All
Yep.
right. So one was called How to Calm the Chaos in Cancer with Organization and Preparation. The second is called Oncology 101, a primer in pathology, radiology, and cancer staging. The third one is called All About DNA, understanding genetics and tumor DNA. And the last one was called Symptom Management in Cancer Treatment.
Awesome. So
yeah.
Yep, 4 very important topics.
Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So my slogan is your abilities are infinite. I would love to know, what does that mean to you?
So one of my gifts is the ability to take complicated scientific medical jargon and explain it to people in a way that they understand. I often can use analogies and different ways of explaining things to them. So I call that like kind of my superpower, so to speak. I was a molecular biology major at Princeton as an undergraduate, and then I went to medical school, what have you. So I have a lot of science background, and I don't think after just talking to me for 10 or 15 minutes, you would have suspected that, right? Yeah. I tend to be able to talk on, whatever level is appropriate if necessary. And so I'm good at explaining things. Hopefully I try at least, to people.
Yeah, you are.
So my abilities being infinite, I see as my ability to help and explain, calm, educate, and organize as many cancer patients as I can get my hands on or I can reach. And that's my infinite reach, or ability, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I absolutely love that. And it's so true. It's so true. Amazing. So how can people find you and work with you?
Okay. So there are a couple ways. So like I said before, I keep it simple. I played soccer when I was growing up, and I had a coach when I was growing up that used to always tell us everything is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep, love it.
I love this guy. I still remember him, my fourth grade soccer coach. So everything's called Winning the Cancer Journey. So I have a private Facebook group that if you have cancer and you're interested in following or being part of the group, you just have to answer 3 or 4 questions to make sure you're not a bot. And then I let you into the group. I do have a website called Winning the Cancer Journey. And anybody, I can also give you, I know I shouldn't be giving so many different things, but I can also give you my email address if that would be helpful. Directly, people can email me and request information. In fact, if you email me, I can give you, I have a free PDF that I hand out to a lot of people. That's the 10 most important questions to ask your oncologist, which is, a pretty useful document. So my email address is Dr. Tiffany Troso, Troso, at, ready? winningthecancerjourney.com. So Dr. Tiffany Troso at winningthecancerjourney.com. You can email me directly.
Awesome. And I'll put all of your links and everything in the show notes so everybody can find you.
Perfect.
All right, Dr. Tiffany, this has been absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your unique gifts with us.
Thank you so much, Nick, for having me. This was very pleasurable. I really appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in the Nick Yerhart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors. So let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone. Remember, your abilities are infinite.